Yo, Jupe, what's going on, man? Are you with our Mafia brothers?
I am with Chris and Shaffalahein. We are in Solace 2 at Rocky Rapids.
Dude, that's perfect. I'm coming into the metro right now. I am super excited to hear about the Cardano governance changes, what the DREP thing is all about, and learning about MAV100. So this is going to be great.
Let's do it, man. Let's put our dummies hats on and let's learn something.
Absolutely. Let's do it, man. Welcome to The Wise Guys, a Corn Mafia Guild production where we talk about all things Cornucopias and a little bit more. Today, we're joined by our Mafia brothers, Chris and Shaffalahein. They're two of the founders of MAV100, a project focused on teaching the next generation on how to live in a decentralized world. We'll be hearing more about their project and their involvement with some upcoming changes to the Cardano ecosystem. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
We are.
Yeah, we really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we're going to hear more about your project. That's exciting stuff. And there's some kind of wacky, weird stuff going on with the Cardano changes. And what does that mean for everybody? So we're going to dig into that while we explore this big world of cornucopias.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take you guys on a deer hunt if you're interested.
Absolutely.
What do you think? All right.
Bring
So
it on. I think I'm dressed right. I got the soccer shorts on. So
you're dressed for Rumble Ball. All right.
That's right.
So Villian gave me the lowdown on where to find the deer. Let me use the scanner and show where we are. We are in Rocky Rapids.
I should probably come with you.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay, go. Let's go.
I'm going to stop along the way so we can check out some of these cool views. For instance, right behind us here, there's a really sweet view of the waterfall.
Absolutely beautiful. Right? It's
Check it
been
out.
amazing. You know, I've been driving to work, and we live in a really beautiful area, Cam and I do. And I literally want to take pictures and go, is this Solace or is this because we literally live in stuff that looks just like this. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And when we come up to this waterfall, if you hit the scanner, you can see all the cool plots that are right here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's see this one over here. Nice little large over here with the views. Excellent.
Yep.
So we're on the map. Here's the big map.
Whoa.
Nice. Cool.
Wow.
Hey guys, tell me more about MAV100. Like, what's going on with all that?
So, you know, when I explain it to people, I initially start out saying that we're in the process of building a community-owned telecommunications company. You know, and we're working with kids and ASB clubs and schools to help educate them about like how to build the network, how to operate the network, how to all of that kind of stuff. But it really does go a lot further, and I think Cam could probably expand a little bit on that. But it's not just telecommunications. Obviously, World Mobile was a great intro to that, and then they gave us a great opportunity to start it. But there are a lot of other aspects that are coming kind of behind that. And I don't know, Cam, if you want to expand a little bit on that.
Well, one of the things that we started MAV100 for was to start integrating blockchain into our community at a fundamental level, you know, starting with education in schools. And as we went through that, a lot of opportunities became apparent to us. One of the big ones was through World Mobile and the Citizens Broadband Radio Service, and realizing that we had access to this massive network that previously was only available to some of the large networks in telecommunications out there, like Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T, who have billions of dollars to spend on licensed spectrum. And so learning what the CBRS was, how we could integrate it with the schools, and just teaching people about this opportunity kind of opened our eyes and gave us the tools to start really branching out and finding all kinds of ways to integrate blockchain into businesses, education, and community involvement and governance. And so we started getting involved with all these different things, and all these points of light started coming together and creating a pretty amazing project. where we take, students and businesses and parents and, different sports, and just bringing all this value together to start, bringing positive changes to people's lives, especially our youth. And so, yeah, it's been a really interesting journey. Met a lot of really cool people, and it'll be really fun to see all the different things that we can, get involved with to help people out and bring blockchain into this, into the real world.
What is MAV100? Like, what's behind the name?
You read my mind, Zeke. What does it stand? What does MAV100 stand for, and what does the 100 mean?
Well, MAV is it stands for minimum attack vector. It's a term that's used throughout the blockchain world to try to describe how many different basically attack vectors that people would have to take over a blockchain. So you take, for instance, a blockchain like Bitcoin, and you say, well, you have all these large mining companies that kind of aggregate a lot of this. The MAV factor would be somewhere around 3 for Bitcoin. You could say, okay, if somebody took over Antpool and 2 of these others, then they would have 51% of the network, and they could, execute a 51% plus attack on that network.
Okay.
So Ethereum, they're closer to like 5. Cardano's in the 30s, approaching 40. And our goal is kind of try to help push things up as high as we can. Getting up into the 100 range would probably be pretty cool.
So one thing that helps with that MAV factor is SPOs. The SPOs are the, they are the entity that actually validates transactions on Cardano. And the more SPOs you have, the more, basically the more entities that somebody would have to hack in order to take over a blockchain, if that makes sense. And so if, let's say an entire country decided, nah, we're not interested in Cardano, we're just going to shut down all of the SPOs in this country. Well, that's fine, because there's 3,000 SPOs at this point plus that help validate the blockchain. And so even if an entire country shut down, this blockchain is still going to be validated by the SPOs that are available. Well, if we are starting an SPO in every single school that we go into, and we show the kids how to run the SPOs and start the SPOs and even learn the coding and stuff behind the SPOs, well, you're increasing that MAV factor to where it becomes increasingly harder to ever shut down that blockchain and ever see any kind of downtime, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So check out this view, guys. If we hop on this rock right here, I'm gonna show you something cool. 2 cool things, actually. Whoa, don't fall off, baby.
Yeah, I fell off earlier and had to run Zeke.
So check it out. That straight across from us, that is a little island.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
And there are no plots on that island. And if you look to the left of the island and see this part of the mountain that juts out here, that's actually, if you look closely, that's kind of like a little cave entrance. It doesn't go into a cave, it just takes you out the other side of that. But it's pretty cool.
I think it's really neat with that island. You say there's nothing on it, but it's like in game we're going to be able to build and build bridges or roads or dig into cliffs to be able to get up things easier. And I just wonder, like, what could we do with that island? Can we build over there? Can we do something as a community to make that inhabitable, or a place to put boats or whatever it is? I think it's to kind of be part of this in how this world evolves, essentially.
That is really interesting. And also, if you hit your scanner and look behind us, there's some really nice plots. This looks like an epic right here behind us.
That's pretty good size.
Right here, right on this fishing spot. Really dope.
Yeah.
We'll find out. It's an epic.
Give me a fishmonger in Cornucopias.
Yeah, I like Rocky Rapids a lot. So Chris, I have a question, man, and I'm sure you can answer it, or Shaf can answer it. What is a DREP? I keep hearing about DREPS, and I don't even know what that is.
Like we're 5, please.
Yes.
Yep. Right. And I don't have enough papers or crayons right now. A designated DREP or a designated representative is what DREP stands for.
Okay.
And they are going to be somebody in Cardano that steps up and they take on the role of being involved. And it's basically almost like being a congressman, if you will. Would you agree with that, Shaff? I mean, almost like when you delegate to a DREP, when you delegate your ADA to them, they are kind of responsible to represent you as a person, as an ADA holder, in the the governance, and they're going to be putting forward propositions as far as like how to govern the blockchain and how that works. But Chef, you have
Yeah, so basically a DREP, and to get technical, it's a delegated representative. They are going to be responsible for the majority of the proposals that get submitted to the blockchain for how things are going to be governed moving forward. Originally, things were governed by IOHK, the Cardano Foundation, and Emergo. They had the Genesis keys, and they were responsible for any parameter updates or upgrades to the network. And moving forward, that will all be taken care of by three different groups within the Cardano governance scheme. There are basically three pillars. There's the Constitutional Committee, and their job is to vote on whether or not a proposal that is submitted is constitutional, whether it follows how the Constitution is intended. You'll also have the stake pool operators, and they'll be able to vote on parameter adjustments or upgrades to the network. And then DREPS, they will represent ADA holders, and they will be able to vote on anything, any proposals that come through, changing parameters or also budgetary decisions. And so right now, with the Chain hard fork coming through, we have the ability to tap into 1.5 billion ADA in the treasury right now. Up to this point, it hasn't been touched. It can't even be delegated at this time because nobody has control over that wallet. But now, with the institution of the Chain hard fork, we have the ability to tap into that, and that's why this is going to be really important moving forward for people to get involved. You just think about what can be done with a well-managed budget, and of that scale. It can really push forward some really cool things for the blockchain, and I think that it's in everybody's best interest to get involved.
I think this is a good point to make. At this point, Cardano is still governed by the 1 ADA 1 vote scenario. There's been a lot of discussion in every workshop that I've been a part of that we'd love it to be 1 person 1 vote, but there's also it brings its own obstacles, obviously. But right now it's still 1 ADA 1 vote. So the more ADA that a 1 DREP has delegated to them, the more voting power they have as far as voting on propositions or whatnot. And so it's something that people should really understand. You are very important when it comes down to the delegation to a DREP. You are putting forward your voice as far as how much ADA you have, and obviously at that point you can see that whales can come in and delegate and influence things, but if a DREP doesn't act accordingly to how they want, then they can actually move their delegation and put it into a different DREP that votes the way they want them to vote, basically.
Shop, one of the things you said about the DREPs is they're kind of representing a group of people, or did I articulate that, or did I understand that correctly, that it's kind of representing people? How does that work?
Well, so when a DREP goes ahead and gets their identifier set up, people can delegate to them just like they could delegate to a stake pool. And so, yeah, you can go ahead and go out there. You already probably see plenty of influencers like on X putting out their ID, and people can go into copy that and go into their Eternal wallet and say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and delegate to this person, just like I delegate my stake to a stake pool. Now I want this person to have this amount of control over how different proposals are approached.
Okay, cool. What are the governance? How is that broken down? Is there a structure to that? What's that look like?
Well, like I said before, we have the 3 different pillars. So the Constitutional Committee, they're going to go ahead and make sure things are, follow the Constitution as far as the proposals are concerned. Mostly it'll have to do with making sure that things follow, a lot of the key tenets that people came to Cardano for in the first place. Transparency, accountability, and security. And then you'll have the stake pool operators. They're going to, have their realm of influence that'll have to do with parameter changes or upgrades to the network. And then the DREPS, they get to get involved in anything. And so when a proposal is put forth, somebody has to have 100,000 ADA, and that gets locked up in a smart contract while the proposal is being voted on by the 3 different entities. And then there will be a period that will extend. It's roughly a month or so, and I think it's 6 epochs to be precise. And during that time, people can vote, and if a quorum is reached, then either it will be enacted or it will expire, and then that ADA is then unlocked. So that's how governance will play for moving forward. There are also info actions. So a lot of people, basically, you can put up a poll and people can vote on it, and they can say, all right, I either agree with this or I don't, and this is why. And then people can adjust their proposals based on that input.
It's really interesting how, the process of how are DREPs selected, and how would somebody get involved, I guess?
Well, as a DREP, anybody can become a DREP if you have 500 ADA. Then it's just whether or not people want to delegate to you. So get out there and you say, all right, this is what I represent. I believe in these things, that have to do with, these different types of proposals that will be put forward. And then either people will hear your voice and jump on the train, or they'll move on to somebody else, all depending on their opinion of you.
Gotcha.
I can kind of throw you out a scenario there too. We traveled, what was that, 5.5 hours up to Canada to go to attend a workshop, and it was one of these constitutional workshops where you are literally voting on different. We had about 5 to 6 questions, I think, that it took us around 6 or 7 hours to decide on. But we got there. We brought 5 people with us. There were 12 people total. We drove to Vancouver, Canada. There were 12 people total. We brought 5 of them, and 3 of them were from Southern Oregon. That means 4 people came from the Vancouver area, if you will. There are the founders or the people that put on the workshop said that there are 800 active wallets in the Vancouver area. So 4 people out of the 800 active wallets were active enough to know enough to actually show up to this workshop and care.
So typical, though. It's so typical, because it's that attitude of oh, somebody else will take care of it. Oh,
Exactly.
whatever. I don't really care about the governance thing. Oh, Charles will take care of that. Well, that's the whole point, is now you're getting people involved, the community's involved to drive it forward, rather than just being a few people making decisions. That's the whole point of it, right? Is decentralization.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
So what we saw was, it is so important that you get involved. We literally drove 5.5 hours out of our way. Some of these people flew in. They flew in to sit down for 7 hours, have a conversation. They're fun too. It's not it's not a grind. It's actually really fun to sit down and have a conversation with.
Wasn't there a
people
session
and really
at
discuss
Rare
it? And we had a similar thing at Rare Evo, but there was more 30 or 40 people at Rare Evo. But
Okay, so better turnout. You got a more captive audience.
the point is, every single person is actually really important. Your vote matters, and when you take the time to go out of your way to help with this, it's important. You know, we showed up with 5 people and we were almost 50% of the one workshop. One thing we've really one thing we've realized is, you know, being chosen as a representative does actually have its double-edged sword kind of scenario where, you know, there's a lot of responsibility to the community to be down there at the Constitutional Convention and actually deciding on how the governance is going to work in Cardano. I mean, and we, you know, and I, you know, Shop for sure has really been feeling it, like, hey, we, you know, we have a lot to do in real life in general, and to be, you know, preparing to head down to Argentina and really put your head down and make these votes count is a big deal. And listening to your community and whoever decides to reach out to you, you know, with email or whatever, basically he has become, if you would, like a congressman. You know, not a congressman. I hate to put it that way, but it really is kind of like he's responsible for listening to you as a community and voting the way. If you delegate to him, then that's kind of, you know, the way he needs to, you know, he needs to listen.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can
specific
weigh
area
in on that.
Oh, well, you know, it's over the last year, basically these constitutional workshops have been taking place in different places all around the world. And the draft constitution has been, you know, put together 40 different locations or more at this point. And a lot of brains have been beating themselves on this thing to make sure it encompasses everything that we need it to make sure that the blockchain continues to support the different ideologies that we all, you know, came to Cardano for, but also it stays lean and mean and doesn't get too overbearing and allows us to continue to govern ourselves in the future. You know, allows us to innovate with different ideas and things. And so it'll be really interesting to see how things all come together at the end of this down in Argentina. You know, we went up and went one of these workshops and we discussed some of the hot topics that were given to us. Everybody kind of got different topics all around the world. And so these 4 questions that we really dove down onto pretty deep, we'll basically be presenting what our workshop, it was about 5 hours long, what we came up with as far as how all of this needed to be addressed. And so, you know, everybody around the world, they have all these different ideas and they're cramming it all into this one thing, this one amazing piece of this document that's going to be on the blockchain in December. And like Chris was saying, it is a big responsibility, and it really opened your eyes to, you know, what you can accomplish with, you know, thousands of people all coming together to create something amazing. So it'll be a lot of fun. Being one of the delegates, it'll be really interesting.
Congrats on that. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you're part of that, and, you know, teaching a dummy like me, you know, being able to ask you questions, that's pretty great to have you close enough to where I can just be like, dude, tell me more about this, because a lot of this I'm not going to understand. I think there's a lot of people that don't quite get this high level stuff, because a lot of it is really high level stuff you're doing, and I have a deep appreciation for that for sure, because I'm not that guy.
Oh my gosh. And if you get into some of these workshops,
You know,
with some of the guys that have been in it for the last 7 years, holy moly, it's an amazing experience to learn from some of the top minds in the world. You know, I mean, this is cutting edge stuff that these guys are coming up with, and it's been an honor to deal with them and really learn some amazing things on how we can move forward, you know, with transparency and security and accountability, and really making it a reality in our lives.
How does this all relate to the Cardano ecosystem? And by that I mean, what makes it important to projects that are building on Cardano like Cornucopias?
Well, we have this process of governance that now includes Treasury. And so every year there's going to be a budget. Sometimes maybe it'll be biannually, where some alterations could be made, but there will be a budget that has a lot to do with the community. There will be marketing budget proposals and parameter upgrades that could affect different projects. And so you want to keep your finger on the pulse of some of these proposals and make sure that it's in the best interests of your project. So if there's a marketing proposal, that's something that Cornucopias could theoretically tap into if there's language that has anything to do with GameFi. If there's a parameter upgrade that might affect the network in a way that influences the Cornucopias game one way or another, that's something that everybody should know about. And that's why it's important to have some representatives that are knowledgeable on how things are working, and give them the support of the community, as much aid as possible to these delegates that have the interests of the projects that you're interested in mind. So, taking, for example, the Cornucopias community, making sure that, we are active and knowledgeable on what's happening will help benefit our project. There's going to be a lot of resources available for that kind of stuff. So it's important for us to work together.
I dig it.
Educate ourselves on what's up.
Yeah.
Guys, I think that we're getting close. Wow, we found them. We got 5. They're all bucks.
These are rad.
Wow. We have found the model deer.
So these would be whitetail, right? Because they have the antler forward as far as the mule deer is kind of
Dancing on
grow
this
up.
guy.
Zeke's dancing on
Is
one.
that
That's
rude
awesome.
to dance on him?
I love it though.
If you recall the Kopi Cafe where
they are
they
whitetail.
had the character designer, and she showed us these
so-
deer maybe a couple months ago. Maybe a few
That's cool.
builds from now we'll be able to see these guys walking around.
That's
Maybe see some
Yeah.
doe, some fawn.
that's right.
When you wonder, like,
Little babies.
are we going to be able to eat them, or is it more like just a?
I'm pretty sure we're
rib.
going to be able to eat them.
Poor little guys.
I think we will.
You say poor little guys. It's okay.
Chris,
They're like ants.
Chris, do you recall
really
in
good.
Vegas when they had that advertisement up and it said, mining, fishing, racing, but it also said hunting, and that was the first time I
Yeah.
saw them mention
Well,
that.
they'll definitely be hunting. I was joking about,
Yep.
eating the little babies.
Nah.
Yep.
Well, maybe we'll eat the
They are.
adults. I wouldn't really
Yeah.
hunt a fawn. It's kind of you're not gonna get the most meat.
No, we don't.
Like
we don't
veal,
shoot
it
llamas or
tastes
fawns.
delicious, but like that's a little baby cow.
I don't eat
honestly-
veal. We found the model deer. I've heard that there's a model bear hidden somewhere too. I have no idea where it is. Yeah. I would love to find the model bear. If anybody watches this and you know where it is,
Hit us
put
up.
the coordinates in the
Oh,
put the coordinates in the chat.
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be the next traveling
Yeah.
conversation.
Speaking of which, Jupe, how did you hear about this spot? Wasn't there somebody that?
Oh, that's right. I got to give a shout out to Villian. Thank you so much for giving us the
$1 billion.
lowdown.
It's not a million. It's not a billion. It's a billion.
1 billion.
Well,
He had to dig through his info to let me know how to
Yeah.
find this. So thank you, Villian. Very
and
cool.
I really do want to throw it out there for Pattern Hobbit. He has done an incredible job of just serving the community in
Heck
general.
yeah.
I mean, he has just hooked it up.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Chris. He's done, from what I know, 2 NFT series so far of community members. I don't know if that extends to people in other communities, but I know he's hooked us up in the Cornucopias community. I've gotten a self-portrait NFT from him from both, and so has Zeke.
Yep.
And I think you have too, right, Chris?
Yes, and he did a great job. He took one of so I got one from Joseph Miranda. I got the
Me too,
official
yep.
Low Life, and so he took that and blended it into kind of a PFP for me. And then this latest one, the Shades crew, right?
Yeah.
the one that he just now came out with in the last week has just been awesome.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just killed it. You know what I mean?
I'm going inner Copy bore, with my glasses on, and Shades crew. Here I am.
Yeah, he killed it. He killed it. He did great. Shout out to Hatter and Hobbit.
Yep.
For sure. Thank you, man.
Well, guys, this was incredible. Love seeing the deer here. Love hearing about MAV100, what you guys are doing with the good work, the education you're doing for the next generation that really is going to form more than probably we will the direction of everything. This is such the beginning of the journey here. So you guys taking that step to teach the next generation is pretty incredible. Love the community. Cornucopias is huge and amazing, and we're just touching the tip of the iceberg on this game. So it's pretty great to walk in here and see these things and explore it. Hearing more about the governance stuff that's happening. Really amazing stuff. Appreciate you guys. We'll put some links in the description for MAV100, the Mafia Discord, our Twitter, all that good stuff will be in here. So check that out. But love that you guys are part of the Mafia, because this is stuff that, like we said, it's so easy to just be like, I don't want to do it. Well, you guys are in it. So it's great for the Mafia. It's great for Cornucopias. It's great for Cardano that people are stepping up to do these things, to understand the inner workings of it, to get involved and really shaping what this looks like, not just stand on the sidelines going, I wish this or I wish that. You guys are actually doing stuff. So awesome work. Appreciate that. Mafia is going to benefit. People of Cornucopias are going to benefit. MAV100 is definitely going to benefit from that. So keep up the great work. Jupiter, anything else to say, or should we wrap this show up?
Hey man, just thank you guys for coming on. Thank you to Villian. Thank you to Hatter. Appreciate it for sure. And thank you everybody who watched. Don't forget to hop in the chat and give us the coordinates for the bear. The first person to tell me where the bear is, I'm gonna send you 100 Kopi. Let's go.
I got a bobblehead for you.
All right, give us the coordinates. You got a bobblehead and 100 Kopi. No joke.
Another thing, make sure you're subscribing. Hit that little subscribe linky bell thingy. Give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. That helps the channel grow. We want to get this out to more people, and we want to grow Cornucopias together. So
do it.
Amazing work. Shaff, I should say. Any parting shots from you, brother, before we give the old peace out?
Well, everybody just stay tuned. There are going to be delegates, delegated representatives, DREPS, popping up within the Mafia, and other, within the Knights and different parts of Cornucopias. And we have, with MAV100, we have a DREP, my brother Colin. And so we're going to be working together to make sure that we have our say and everybody hears us, and it'll be a great thing to coordinate and be able to take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that are coming with a massive treasury that's becoming available to help projects really push things forward. So let's get at it. Thanks a lot for giving us the time to educate some people. It's also a huge part of this.
Thank you for sharing. It's fantastic.
Yep. Thank you guys so much.
Now we get to do it. Peace, everybody. See ya.